next technique is loop fusion. So before this we have seen a technique known as loop distribution in chapter number 2, which is also part of this chapter, but we skipped in this chapter because we already studied that in chapter number 2. So in a loop distribution, what happens is uh, we separate parallel parts of a loop. So sometimes it happens that in a loop, uh, some parts are parallelizable or some part are not parallelizable. So what we'll try to do is we'll try to break a larger loop into a set of smaller loop. Okay, so that sequential part or the part which cannot be executed in parallel, that would be separated out and that would be executed in sequential manner only, and the remaining part which can be executed in parallel. Okay, so that part can be separated out and that can be executed in parallel. So in one loop there may be a number of instructions which are parallelizable, so that would be separated. So this is known as loop distribution, and we always try to maximize the loop distribution. Okay, so whatever parts which are available in a loop which can be parallelizable, all that are separated through loop distribution. The maximal distribution often finds parallelizable components small too small for efficient parallelizing. So here it should be TOO2, too small for efficient parallelizing. What does it mean? To understand this point, take one example that I am having one loop, and inside that loop there are 10 instructions. Okay, and out of this 10 instructions, 5 instructions can be executed in parallel, while remaining 5 cannot be executed in parallel, so that are to be executed in sequence only. Okay, and these parallel and non-parallel instructions are alternate to each other. It means that if first is an instruction which can be parallelized, then second is sequential instruction, third is the instruction which can be parallelized, fourth is instruction which cannot be parallelized. Okay, so are you getting this? So there are 10 instruction, 5 are parallelizable, 5 are non-parallelizable. So if you have to execute those instruction in parallel which are parallelizable, then you have to apply loop distribution. Now here in this loop of 10 instruction, if you apply loop distribution, then you can divide one loop into 10 different loop. So if you divide this one loop into 10 different loop, I am taking very extreme example where every loop will have only one instruction. So if you distribute this one bigger loop into 10 different loop, then every loop will have a single instruction. Okay, and that instruction will be either parallelizable or non-parallelizable. If a loop is having parallelizable instruction, then that loop can be parallelized, and the loop which is not having parallelizable instruction, that is to be executed in sequence. So now I am having total 10 number of loop. Out of that, 5 can be converted into parallel loop and 5 remains sequential loop. Now what happens here is, in each of these 5 parallel loop, if we execute that, then that loop is too small. That is very small loop, because inside that you have only one instruction. So every iteration is of one instruction only. So suppose a scenario that I am having say 10 different machines, and that can be used to execute loop in parallel. Then in this case, every parallel loop which is having only one instruction would be given to one of this machine, and this machine can execute iteration of this loop in parallel. Okay, but what happens here is every loop, every machine will get one iteration to execute in parallel with the iteration which is executing in another machine. Now that machine is having a very small task of executing only one instruction in parallel. Okay, so for parallelizing any loop, there is some extra overhead. Okay, so if you have sufficient amount of work to execute in parallel, then this taking extra overhead of parallelization would be profitable. Okay, otherwise if you are parallelizing a loop which is having only one instruction in a iteration, then this type of parallelization is not efficient. Okay, so in that case overhead of parallelization would be more than what you are saving from the parallelization. So this kind of parallelization is to be avoided. Now what can be done in this case? So in this particular example, what we can do is these 5 loops, okay, which are having parallelizable instruction, this 5 loop can be combined into one loop. Okay, so finally when we have a loop having 10 instruction, 5 parallelizable, 5 non-parallelizable, then first we will distribute loop and we'll get 10 different loop. Out of that 10 different loop, 5 are parallelizable, 5 are non-parallelizable. So we will fuse all 5 parallelizable loop into one loop. Okay, so fusing means combining. Okay, so it is opposite of distribution. So first we'll distribute all 10, then we'll fuse or combine 5 parallelizable into one, and then we'll combine 5 sequential into one, that is optional. Okay, in this way, the final parallelizable loop which I am getting will have 5 instructions. Okay, so when we parallelize in coarse grain parallelism, every machine will execute one iteration, then that machine will have a sufficient task to execute. It will have at least 5 instructions to execute in parallel with other iteration which is going on next machine. Okay, so this is how the loop fusion is used, and this is the need of loop fusion. Okay, so last point is same, which is which I explained, that there are two obvious solution to for um, efficient use of loop distribution. That is, first, strip mine large loop to create a larger granularity, and then perform maximal distribution. First perform maximal distribution and then fuse together the parallelizable loop. Now loop fusion is not always safe. Okay, so whenever we have to loop, then blindly we cannot fuse them. Before fusing or before combining to loop, we have to check for the safety. Okay, so whether fusion of loop is safe or not. So how to check that? For the definition is given here. A loop independent dependence between statements S1 and S2 in loops L1 and L2 respectively is fusion preventing if fusing L1 and L2 causes the dependence to be carried by the combined loop in the opposite direction. Okay, now to understand this, take this example. On left side you have two loops. Okay, both loop are going from 1 to n, and both loop is having one instruction. So first loop, say L1, is having instruction S1, which is AI is equal to BI plus C. So if you see individually this loop, there is no dependence, so you can execute this loop in parallel. Now another loop is having instruction S2, DI is equal to AI plus 1 plus E. So individually if you see this loop, then this is also not having any dependence, so you can parallelize this. So individually these two loops can be parallelized, okay, and this two loop is having same number of iterations, same loop index, same lower value, upper value and increment. So you can think of fusing this two loop, okay. So to increase the efficiency, because each of this loop is having only single instruction, so here the overhead of parallelization would be more than what you are actually saving from the parallelization. So you can think of fusing this two loop. So if you fuse this two loop, then what will happen? See on right hand side, this loop after fusing will have two instruction S1 and S2, okay. Now if you carefully see this, then in this fused loop, now you have loop carried dependence due to A. So first instruction is using calculating value of A of I, and second instruction is using value A of I plus 1. So it is leading to loop carried dependence, okay, loop carried, and here it is anti dependence, okay. So it means that now this loop cannot be parallelized, okay, because in parallelization you want that one iteration should not have dependence on another iteration. So here the first iteration is having dependence on second iteration, second is having dependence on third iteration, so this cannot be fused, okay. So before fusing you have to check whether this fusion will lead to extra dependence, okay. So if fusion leads to extra dependence and that dependence is loop carried dependence, then you cannot fuse the loop. So if it is having any loop independent dependence, then there would be no issue, okay, because one iteration would be executed by one machine in sequence only. So sequence of S1 and S2 would be maintained. But since here you are having loop carried dependence, that's why you cannot fuse this loop. Understood? So this was the first condition for checking fusion safety, and one more condition is ordering constraint, okay. So if ordering constraint is there, and this is also another condition for checking safety. So according to this, we shouldn't fuse loop if the fusing will violate ordering of the dependence graph, okay. And what is ordering? Two loops can't be validly fused if there exists a path of loop independent dependencies between them, containing a loop or statement not being fused with them, okay. To understand this, see this example. Here we have three loops. Here L represent a loop, not statement, okay. So L1 is a loop, L2 is a loop, L3 is a loop. You see difference between L2 and L1. L1 is having two concentric circle. L1 is represented by two concentric circle and L2 is having single circle, okay. So what does it mean? Here single circle represent sequential loop and concentric circle represent parallelized loop, okay. So it means that here L1 and L3, these two loop are parallelizable. They are not having any loop carried dependence, and L2 is a sequential loop. It is having dependence and it cannot be parallelized. Now here, if L1 is parallelized, L2 is parallelized, then can you fuse this to L1 and L3 into one single loop? Before that, you see what kind of dependencies are there, or what kind of dependencies are represented by this dependence graph. So you have edge from L1 to L2. What it represent? It represent that L2 can be executed only after completion of L1, because you have dependence from L1 to L2. Similarly, you have age from L1 to L3. It means that L3 can start its execution only after completion of L1. Similarly, L3 can be started only after completion of execution of L2. Now, if you fuse this L1 and L3, then you cannot maintain the constraints of dependence graph. Okay, because here meaning is, if you see carefully L2, this L2 should start only after completion of L1 and L3 should start only after completion of L2. This will not be possible if you fuse L1 and L3 into one. If you fuse L1 and L3 into one and if you execute it before L2, okay, then this dependence L1 to L2 would be maintained, but L2 to L3 will not be maintained because L3 is executing before L2. Okay, so this dependence would be violated. Now, if you fuse L1 and L3 and if you execute this fused loop after L2, then dependence from L2 to L3 would be maintained, but dependence from L2 to L1 to L2 would be violated because here L1 will execute after completion of L2. Okay, so to maintain this dependence graph would not be possible if you fuse L1 and L3. Okay, so this is known as ordering constraint. So in dependence graph, if you have such ordering constraint, then you cannot fuse loops. Okay, so you need to find whenever you have to fuse loop, you have to see dependence graph also, and you have to find whether you have any ordering constraint. Okay, and to find ordering constraint, it is very easy. If you have to find ordering constraint, then you have to see whether you have any alternate path between the loop which are to be fused, and that alternate path is going through some non-parallelized loop. Okay, so here you have to parallelize L1 and L3, and you have to check whether you have any path from L1 to L3 which is going through any unparallelized loop. And yes, here in this case you have a path from L1 to L3 which is going through L2 which is not parallelized. So it means that here you cannot fuse this loop because of ordering constraint. Ordering constraint would be there because path between two loops which are to be fused is going through a non-parallelized loop. Okay. Now next is fusion profitability. So when you apply some technique, then it is obvious that you want that after applying that optimization technique or after applying that transformation, you should get some profit. Okay, profit in terms of CPU time. Okay, so after parallelization, you should be able to save some execution time. And if there are case when after parallelization also you are not saving any execution time, then there is no meaning in applying that transformation, because that transformation itself is costly. For transformation you need to do lot of analysis, you need to check for safety condition, and then you have to apply, you have to change that program. So that itself will take some time, some efforts. Okay, so you would be you have to think of applying any transformation only if it is profitable. Okay, so in loop fusion also you have to check for profitability. Sometimes it happens that you have loops which can be fused safely. Okay, after applying two condition of safety, you came to know that these loops can be fused safely, but after fusing it is not giving any profit, it is not changing any CPU time requirement. Then there is no need of there is no meaning of fusing such loop. Okay, so definition of fusion profitability is uh, an age between two statement in loop L1 and L2 respectively is said to be parallelism inhibiting if after merging L1 and L2 the dependence is carried by the combined loop. Okay, so to understand this, see example. So first you have two different loops, and individually if you see these two loop, then these two loop are not having any dependence. So you can uh, execute this two loop independently, uh, uh, individually. You can parallelize this two loop to make it more efficient. If you try to uh, merge this, if you try to fuse this, then you will get the loop which is in lower part. And there if you see, after fusing, now this loop is having loop carried dependence. Okay, so after fusing, if you are having loop carried dependence, then now it means that this loop cannot be parallelized. Okay, so earlier both of these two loop were parallelizable, and after fusing, due to this dependence, it is not parallelizable. It means that here the fusion, although it is safe, but it is not profitable. Okay, so this is all about the loop fusion.